Hello and welcome you all for this video presentation session on the topic Big Data Analytics. Myself Dr. Kondekar from Walchand Institute of Technology, Solapur. So when we talk about this big data, these days we are talking about the huge repositories of the data and then dealing with that huge amount of data repositories through these analytics tools. So this is a buzzing word nowadays, big data and big data analytics. So let us explore what this big data analytics is. So this session is for engineering undergraduate students who want to explore their knowledge about this data analytics as well big data analytics. So let us try to understand as a first chapter for this session as what do you mean by big data. So basically when you have data, we talk about digital data available to us, and then that digital data set which is in large quantity, large volume, and it's complex in nature as compared to the traditional data set what we are having. So then the traditional methods which we are using for analyzing the data cannot be directly used as it is for the analysis of the big data. So the various organizations who are driven by the data, where the operations are driven by the data, so then they need to think of how to process this big data, and then this explores new opportunities and new domains of data analytics called as big data analytics. So definitely there are certain challenges also when you are dealing with this huge amount of data. So how you manage that data in terms of the parameters, later we will be exploring those parameters also. We will be discussing that volume, velocity, variety, these are the characteristics of the big data. And then these are posing some hurdles on the analysis as far as the traditional data analytics techniques are concerned. So let us try to learn this big data transformation, who is transforming the industries also. So let us talk about the characteristics of the big data, how you identify that the data problem or the data which you are analyzing is a big data. So there are some characteristics. These are called as 3 V's of the big data, the 3 V's of the big data. So this is a classical theory part of the big data analytics, where the 3 important characteristics starts with the volume. So volume in the sense how much storage that data is taking. So when the data is getting generated, okay, so it requires storage. When you want to process it, it has to be stored. So just earlier we were thinking of the data available in the form of some kilobytes, megabytes, but now let us think of a data which is in the range of terabytes, petabytes and beyond that. So this is one important characteristics of the big data, so where the volume in terms of the storage is very high and in the form of maybe TB and petabytes. Next important characteristics is sometimes the data may not be taking too much of size, but there is huge variety present in the data. Variety in the sense there are diverse forms of the data available, and then there can be some part of the data which is a structured part, which is maybe available in the form of some standard tables, database tables, and sometimes the data may be unstructured also, like the data available in the form of some text communication, maybe some comments are written as a feedback, there are some images, video contents, so and all these different types of data if you want to deal with, so that adds a characteristics called as there is a variety present in the data. So second important characteristic is variety. And then third is velocity of the data. So that too is also important, because the speed, there can be data getting generated at very high speed. You should have those sensors, those analog to digital converters also. If the analog data is getting generated so fast that they will respond to those faster or speedy changes, and then in real time you will be storing that, and then you will analyzing, and then that analysis results or insights are provided to the user in real time. So many times we talk about this important characteristic of the data, which is also important, called as velocity, where you are talking about the applications where real time analytics is required. So this velocity is also one important characteristic of big data. So from where we are getting this big data generated? So these are some real world examples where the big data is getting generated. Maybe some financial transactions taking place, means credit card transactions taking place. Just imagine how many users are there, how many transactions they are making, and then you are analyzing. Maybe take a problem like you want to detect the fraud in the transaction, and then you need to get that data, process it and analyze it. Your mobile data, means you are doing some communication over the mobile, so that also generates a big data. Number of subscribers are there, they are using these telephone services, so that is also a big data. And then there are some social media platforms where the data, huge amount of data is getting generated, like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Skype, and so many other platforms are also there. One more in the field of this biological research, like in the DNA sequence and DNA research, huge amount of data is getting generated. So these are some examples where you get this big data, and then the challenge is how you will analyze this big data. So many times when the data is available, in the first slide also we talked about that data may be a structured data, sometimes it is unstructured totally, and then as a median or mid of that may be semi-structured data. So these are three important data structures may be available to you. And then basically the structured data is available, as I said, maybe in the form of some tabular information, SQL databases, SQL tables are there, Oracle databases are there, and then there may be some relational databases available to you. All these are coming under the structured data. So if you take example like you have a tabular data, so everything structure means the column headings are representing the attributes, every row represents the instance, and every cell represents the value taken for that particular attribute representing the column, and for that instance for the row which is representing that particular instance. So everything is well defined, so that's why we call it as structured data. And then unstructured data is like you are chatting on some social media websites, or you are sending some emails, some Word documents you are preparing, your audio files, video files. These are the examples of unstructured data. And then some part is structured, some part is unstructured, that represents a semi-structured data. And the example of that, JSON files are there, JSON documents are there, XML files are there. So these are good examples of unstructured data where the data doesn't conform to be like a traditional structured data, relational data like a relational database, and but it contains some tags, and then some markers are present, and then these things can be used to analyze. So that's why these type of data sets are called as semi-structured data sets. So this is very important to understand the kind of data which is available to you before moving ahead for choosing the big data analytics platform and tool. So that is what evolving data repositories are generating huge amount of data. So in traditional data warehouses, they were designed to handle the structured data, but nowadays the data repositories are supposed to store unstructured data also. So there is need of having some big data architectures, and then for storing, for analyzing that data, and then you need to handle with these evolving data repositories different analytical challenges also. So where how you'll integrate that, and then how you'll make sure that the data which you are analyzing is having good quality, and then how you'll perform these all these analytics complex analysis problems in real time at different scales. So current state of practice for the data is analyzed, and then there is something called as data science and business intelligence. So let us talk about this business intelligence, because when you are analyzing the data, there should be some aim of what is the purpose, what is the reason why you are making this analysis. So you when you are making the data analytics with the point of business point of view, you want to earn some money, you want to earn profit, you want to get some important insights so that I can improve my profit. So then that is called as business intelligence approach. And then another thing is called as data science. So then these analytic architectures are there, and then these architectures are having some components like the data lakes, data warehouses, and there are various streaming platforms which are used. So in case of this emerging data ecosystems, so there are various platforms which are coming into the picture like Hadoop and Spark. Then you need to think of the data, if it is available on the cloud or the processing is to be done on the cloud. So cloud integration is important. And then you need to think of different cloud platforms, maybe Azure platform, AWS platform, Google cloud services platform. So all those things you need to explore. And then when you have the data, when you want to make that effective analysis, so there can be some involvement, or you can invoke the emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning, and where this machine learning will create some model by learning from the data, and then later that model can be used for various applications. So these are the key roles in the big data ecosystem. So these are the key positions where you will get the opportunities to work or to contribute. Maybe you can work in as a form as a data scientist. There are positions like data engineers, and then business analysts, and then these are some important points highlighted what exactly role you need to perform in this big data ecosystem if you get a position in the industry to work like maybe data scientist, data engineer, or business analyst. So all these people should collaboratively work, and then these collaborative effort across these roles drives the successful big data initiatives. So that is the key opportunity in the field of big data analytics. And then these are some impactful applications where these industries are getting transformations in the form of business and increased profit, and these are the various domains where these transformations are taking place, like business, healthcare, in different government sectors, as well in the research also. So these are the various references used for this presentation. Thank you.